Tonight in the city of Mesquite, we take part in a very historic moment. Tonight, this city council, and really this entire city, makes a statement that we hope will be a lasting example for future generations of leaders and citizens in our city. As a community and a nation, we have all endured much pain and suffering over the last few weeks, and I wish we could say that that was only because of the coronavirus pandemic. We've all endured pain and sorrow that comes from division, tragedy, and the consequences of too many years of ungodly racism and inequality. After the signing of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, President Johnson surely hoped, as did all Americans, that he had finished the work of President Lincoln. And when we had our first African-American president, we surely all hoped that had finally ended the endurance of inequality, and yet we know that that is also not true. We simply aren't there yet. As I've said many times for myself and others, we may not be able to fix all of America or even all of Texas, but we can do more good here at home in Mesquite. We should and we must. I've said many times that if we are to have law and order and be crime-free, that law and order must be for all citizens of all colors and all backgrounds. All citizens must feel like they are treated equally and fairly under the law, and that the law protects them just the same, and that safety is for everyone. And indeed, all lives cannot matter unless black lives matter as well. We know that the great seal of the U.S. House of Representatives that says e pluribus unum, or out of many, one. Thus, absolute equal value for every citizen. Tonight, this City Council will undertake a resolution that we hope tells the entire world that in Mesquite, Texas, we absolutely and unequivocally denounce as never before all forms of hatred and racism. We resolve with all we have in us that Mesquite must be a city where every race, ethnicity, economic status, and background feel welcome, and that they know that they are welcome at the table of decision making, and that we must be one city, one people, under God, and indivisible. At this time, I will read the resolution before us, which I count a distinct honor and privilege to get to do. Whereas the City of Mesquite, the Mayor and City Council, management staff, and employees are deeply saddened by the tragic events that have recently occurred across the country that resulted in the unnecessary loss of life. And whereas racism, hate, and bigotry have no place in a thriving, diverse community like the city, and whereas residents must demonstrate dignity toward one another and reflect on how we can be a positive force in advocating for a world without racism, and whereas the city celebrates and welcomes diversity, inclusion, equality, and unity as essential to a positive and healthy community. And whereas we are committed to safeguarding our community against the harms that racism causes, to protecting and respecting the constitutional rights of every person who lives, works, and visits our city. And whereas in the 56 years since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous 1963 I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., we have not realized the dream of treating everyone based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And whereas the city is committed to fostering attitudes, behaviors, practices, and knowledge that promote unity, kindness, and inclusion in our workplaces and our neighborhoods. And whereas the path towards complete unity and inclusion is a long-term and ongoing commitment. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Mesquite, Texas, Section 1, that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Mesquite will hereby continue to engage all citizens in developing a deeper understanding for people whose life experiences are different than our own, develop programs and services designed to understand, celebrate, and embrace our diversity, strive to act with friendship, humility, and openness as we gain new and better insights to achieving a safer, more equitable, and unified community, stand steadfast with all citizens of Mesquite against racism and reaffirm our commitment to fighting for racial justice and human and civil rights, and expect all who live or visit our city to be treated with equality, dignity, and fairness. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from here and after its passage. Duly resolved by the City Council of the City of Mesquite, Texas, on this 6th day of July, 2020. We have a motion by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Alaman to pass this resolution tonight. Do we
Second.
have a second? We have a second from Ms. Wisdom. Council, please cast your vote. Ladies and gentlemen, the item passes unanimously.